All right, this video is going to be about creating a game on your microbit. Okay, the first game that we're going to create here is called Snap the Dot. Basically, a dot's gonna, go back and forth on your screen, and then the game is to press the button right when that dot's right in the middle of your screen. Okay? So to do that, we're going to have to basically create what's called a sprite. So the sprite in this case is just the dot. It's the character in the game basically. And so to do that, we're going to actually have to start by creating a variable. Okay. The other section we're going to be working a lot in is under advanced, and you'll actually see game down here. Okay. So to start, I want to create a variable called Sprite. So I'm actually going to delete this and remake it so you can follow along as well. So I'm going to click on Make a Variable. Let's name it Sprite. Okay, and that's going to be my dot that's going to go across my screen. All right. So the first thing we want to do is to set where the sprite is going to start. So I'm going to actually have it start right in the middle there. So I'm going to set sprite 2 on start. And then I need to tell it where on the coordinates I want it to start. And so under game, you can already see sprite is located there under game. And I'm going to set that at x2, y2. That's actually the dead center of the microbit. This is actually 2, 2 right here because it's 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Okay, if you mouse over, you can actually see the top coordinate up here is 0, 0. And so it looks like it's 3, 3, but 0 is actually one of the rows. All right, and so now what I want it to do is to start moving, and I'm going to have it go back and forth forever. So I'm going to be using this forever block. To do that, you can actually just go into game, and you're going to move your sprite by 1. That's going to be actually on our x-axis. You can see it'll move in the simulator, and it's going to keep looping, so it's going to move until it hits this edge, and then it's stuck, because that's as far as our LED grid goes. Right? And so what I want it to do is to, and this is the term they use, bounce back the other direction. Okay? So under game, there is a, when it's touching the edge, to bounce. So sprite, if on edge, you're going to bounce. And it's about to go crazy here. And the reason it's going to go crazy, see how fast it's going, is because it's instantly running this code and looping. We didn't tell it to just kind of slow down. So to do that, we need to use that pause button that's in just your basic drawer over here. So if I scroll down and use pause, I can tell it how much time in between that I want it to, before it moves to the next LED. So like if I increase it to 1 second, it's 1 second before it jumps to the next LED. So that's really slow, and that game's going to be super easy, right? So if you want it really fast, the lower you go, the faster it goes. Okay, I think 100 milliseconds is actually a pretty good speed for this game, at least to start, and then you can always make it go a little bit faster from there. The next thing we need to do is to actually create the game part of it. Okay, so we're going to have the user have an input. So I'm going to have them just press the A button. And so the point of the game is to press the A button when it's right here. Okay, so we need a logic statement that's going to say, is it there or is it not there? Okay, and that's going to be our if-else statements. Right, so if the button is pressed when it's at x equals 2, then you get a point. Otherwise, you lose. Okay. And so now what I'm going to want to do is I need to create my conditional here. So under my logic block, I have my comparisons. And so I want to see when my sprite equals 2, I get a point, otherwise I lose. And so this is going to equal 2, so I can just type that in. And then my sprite is going to be x equals. So my sprite x right here. So when my sprite is at x equals 2, I get a point. So that's going to be under game. Score a point. So change score by 1. Otherwise, game over. I lose. Okay. The interesting thing when you're doing these, using these game blocks, is they actually have some game built into it. There's some blocks that you don't really see, or some set of code. So like if I hit A here, I'm going to try to get it so it's right in the middle. Oh, I missed it. Game over, I lose. So instead of that A plus B shows up, that's actually a reset. So I'll try again. Nope. Try again. Ah, there you go. I actually got a point. Got another point. There you go. Now I lose, and then what you're going to see is game over, and then it's going to give me my score. Okay, so obviously we didn't put all that stuff in there, but because we're creating a game, it actually does that for you, which is kind of nice about drag and drop coding. Normally you would have to bring in a bunch more code for that. And that's basically the game. Now, if you're like, oh, I don't want it to just be game over, I want to have lives, that's an option too. So we can say change or remove a life. Remove life, let's say by 1, right? So click, oop, missed, click, I got a point, I missed twice, missed 3 times, game's over. So notice that that automatically sets your lives to 3, so you get 3 chances in this. Once again, hidden code in these blocks to let that actually happen. The other thing you can do in here, though, you can set life, right? So maybe at the start we set life to 2. Let's see if that works. I've tried this before. Should probably try these things before making videos. So 1, 2. Okay, game over. There you go. So you can set your life as well, how many lives you want. There is a ton of stuff in this gaming that you can go through in order to modify the game, make it more fun. See under more, I don't really see, I'm not sure what some of these do. You got to kind of play around with it. This is like simple, basic game. You'll notice in here, like, there is sprite turn right by a certain degree, so you can see what that's going to do. No, I bet you it does some crazy stuff. I don't know, let's throw that in there. I don't know what that does. Whoa. All right, so every time it hits the edge, it's going to bounce, but it's changing by 45 degrees, so it's kind of doing this crazy loop system. But it is actually hitting that middle dot, so you can still play this game. You can try what happens if you do by 90 degrees. Oh, that's just going to make a little square, right? I think you pretty much got to do by 45, though. So I think 45 was kind of the coolest one, right? And then you can play your game like that. So explore this a little bit. See what kind of things you can do. Is the sprite touching something? If it's touching a certain one, what happens if that happens? Play around with it a little bit. So there you go. There's your crash course in that first game. And then you're going to have some other games that you can make as well.